Black Hollow was a place shrouded in mystery, its dark canopy concealing secrets as old as time. The trees, gnarled and twisted, loomed like silent sentinels, their branches entwined to form a near impenetrable ceiling. The forest floor was thick with moss and creeping vines, muffling the sound of footsteps and giving the air an eerie stillness. No birds sang here, no animals stirred. It was as if life itself avoided this forsaken place. The stories told in Greymoor were enough to keep most villagers far away. Tales of strange lights flickering between the trees, of voices calling in the dead of night, and of shadows that moved on their own. They said the forest was alive, watching, waiting for the foolish or the curious to step too far into its depths. The curse of Black Hollow was older than memory, passed down through generations like a dark legacy. Some claimed it was the site of ancient rituals, where forbidden rites had summoned something from beyond the veil of this world. Others believed it was a battleground, soaked in the blood of countless souls who had never found peace. Whatever the truth, one thing was certain: Black Hollow was no ordinary forest. The few who returned spoke in hushed tones, their eyes hollow and distant. They would not speak of what they had seen, only that it had changed them. Their hair turned white overnight, their voices trembled with a fear they could not articulate, and they would never set foot near the forest again. Yet despite the warnings, there were always those who were drawn to the hollow, by curiosity, by desperation, or by something they could not explain. The forest called to them, its shadowy allure impossible to resist. And once they entered, Black Hollow would consume them, just as it had done to so many before. The curse of Black Hollow was born in fire and blood, its origins rooted in the desperate cries of the betrayed. Centuries ago, when Greymoor was but a fledgling village, whispers of dark rituals swept through the community. Livestock fell ill, crops withered, and the blame fell upon a small coven of women who lived on the forest's edge. The villagers, driven by fear and the words of a zealous priest, accused the women of witchcraft, convinced that they consorted with unholy forces. Dragged from their homes, the women were marched into the heart of the forest, where they were bound to stakes and set alight. As the flames licked their skin, the witches did not scream. Instead, they chanted, a guttural, unholy incantation that filled the air with dread. The villagers watched in horror as the sky darkened, the sun obscured by swirling clouds. The very ground beneath them seemed to pulse, as if the forest itself had awakened to the witches' dying words. By fire we perish, by shadow we rise. Let these woods bear our pain and wrath. Let those who enter be lost, and let their hearts tremble in fear. We bind our spirits to this soil, our vengeance eternal. When the last of the witches fell silent, the forest grew deathly still. The villagers fled, but none spoke of what they saw as they turned back toward the blazing stakes. The shadows cast by the fire twisted unnaturally, forming shapes, human-like, yet wrong, dancing between the trees as if celebrating their newfound dominion. From that day, Black Hollow became a place of dread. The villagers believed the witches' spirits lingered, bound to the forest, twisting it into a living nightmare. Paths that once led out of the woods now circled back on themselves. Travelers would hear whispers, soft and seductive, luring them deeper into the shadows. Lights flickered in the distance, like will-o'-the-wisps, guiding the unwary to their doom. The witch's curse didn't merely claim lives, it devoured souls. Those who vanished in the hollow were said to join the witch's spectral coven, their cries of anguish becoming part of the whispers that haunted the forest. Generations later, the villagers of Greymoor continued to avoid Black Hollow, the weight of the curse an unshakable burden on their collective memory. And yet, the forest seemed to thrive in its cursed state. The trees grew taller, their trunks thicker, their roots gnarled and sprawling as though feeding on the fear and despair of those who ventured too close. Black Hollow was no longer just a forest, it was a living monument to betrayal, vengeance, and the witches who had vowed to make the living suffer as they had. Even now, the whispers lingered, promising secrets to those bold or foolish enough to seek them. But the price of curiosity was steep. In Black Hollow, the lost did not return, not as they were. The legends of Black Hollow were as pervasive as the forest itself, carried from one generation to the next like warnings etched into the fabric of Greymoor's history.